Most fantasy anime make magic feel like a superpower. Witch Hat Atelier does something much more interesting. And somehow, that feels revolutionary. Witch Hat Atelier follows Coco, a girl from a small village who has always loved magic from a distance, the way a kid presses their face against a bakery window. She was never born a witch, so by the rules of her world, that should have been the end of her story. Then she meets Kifri, watches him repair a broken plate with nothing but ink and a steady hand, and discovers the secret hiding underneath everything she thought she knew. Anyone can cast a spell. All it takes is the right ink, the right tools, and the patience to draw the lines correctly. That single idea changes everything about how this story feels. Most fantasy worlds run on a kind of internal video game logic. You have mana, you have power levels, you have a hero who is simply stronger than everyone else for reasons the universe already decided before the show started. It's satisfying in its own way, but it's also predictable. You can usually call the ending of a fight before it begins, because the math was finished off-screen. Witch Hat Atelier doesn't play that game. Kifri isn't strong because of bloodline or some hidden stat sheet glowing under his skin. Yes, he looks like Gojo got isekai'd into a cottagecore fairy tale, calm, devastatingly stylish, way too unbothered for how much danger he's casually holding in one hand, but that's not where his power comes from. It comes from precision. A spell in this show is less like a superpower and more like a machine he assembles in real time, ink instead of gears, and once he lets it go, it runs on its own logic. He doesn't get to keep controlling it just because he made it. Watch his biggest moments closely, and you'll notice the show isn't interested in making him look cool. It's interested in what he built walking away from him. In most isekai, botching a spell is comic relief. You get a little singed eyebrow and the scene moves on, laughing. In this show, botching a spell can erase someone's mother from existence. That's the gap Witch Hat Atelier keeps forcing you to sit inside. The same ink that can mend a shattered plate or save someone's life can, with one shaking hand, take a life instead. Power here isn't a gift handed to the chosen one. It's closer to a blade with no handle, gorgeous to hold, genuinely useful, and only ever one slip away from cutting you back. That tension is what makes the show's sense of wonder feel earned instead of decorative. Every time Coco picks up her pen, there's a flicker of genuine nervousness underneath the excitement, because we already know what carelessness costs in this world. The show lets you feel the thrill of creation and the weight of responsibility at the exact same time, and somehow never lets one cancel out the other. It helps that the world itself is built to make you feel like you're discovering it alongside her. We learn the rules of magic exactly when Coco does, and not a second sooner. There's no narrator explaining the lore over a map. When something strange shows up, like a small detail about who can and can't actually use magic, even with the right ink, we're just as caught off guard as she is. The show trusts you to sit in that uncertainty instead of rushing to resolve it, and that restraint is rare. Even the way the show explains its own backstory leans into that feeling. Whenever the story needs to slow down and fill in something from the past, it switches into this gentle, hand-drawn picture book style, like the world itself is pulling out an old storybook to read to you. It's a small touch, but it makes exposition feel like part of the wonder instead of a pause from it. You're not being lectured, you're being told a bedtime story that happens to be true. Underneath all of that warmth, though, there's something quieter going on. The world of witches isn't simply good guys protecting magic from bad guys. The people enforcing the rules erase memories without hesitation when they decide it's necessary. The system meant to keep magic safe runs on secrecy, control, and a fair amount of moral gray area. The show never announces this loudly, it just lets a scene linger a beat too long, lets the music shift somewhere colder, and lets you notice the discomfort yourself. That's a confident kind of storytelling. It respects you enough to let you feel uneasy without spelling out why. And honestly, that's what elevates Witch Hat Atelier beyond just being a beautifully animated fantasy show. It isn't only asking you to marvel at the craft on screen, though there is plenty to marvel at. It's asking you to think about what it actually means to hand someone the ability to reshape reality, and whether the people guarding that knowledge are protecting the world or just protecting themselves. Coco never set out to become powerful. She just wanted magic to feel the way it looked in a picture book. Somewhere in that simple wish, this show finds something a lot of modern fantasy has quietly forgotten how to do. It makes you believe that wonder and danger aren't opposites. They're the same line, drawn by the same hand, and you never quite know which one you're going to get until the ink dries.